Thanks for your patience.
No worries.
Where are you?
There we go. Good to see you.
You too. I've got a, the light's not so good here. Let me see if I can adjust this one.
Okay.
And I've got a microphone here, but I don't know if that's, I don't think it's, I think I made it wrong.
You sound okay. That's up to you.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, this is good. All right. I chose to go with computer audio, and sadly, too quick. Anyway.
All right, good. Well, good to see you.
Nice to see you too. I like seeing the Emmy in the back. That's nice.
Well, thank you very much.
Nice to
very much. Source of pride, of course. Yeah.
No, of course, absolutely. I have an orchid here in the back, so you know.
Well, you're a much decorated thespian, so I know you're too modest to have all your stuff out in front of you, but.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you.
Yeah. So anyways, talk about life right now. I've taken glimpses of what you've been doing on your social media, and you always seem to be smiling and having a good time and making the best of things.
Oh, I've got a great family. You know, we try to keep it interesting. My son just turned 12. We were doing a little bit of traveling recently, carefully, of course, spending some time in some national parks. And one of the silver linings for me in this is that time to be able to spend with my son and with my wife without having to jump on a plane, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And so we try to keep it you know, fun and have a good time along the way.
Very nice. I know you have you have fun with your wine as well. I always enjoyed looking at that. And
thank you. Yeah, that's actually, it's been nice because you know, as work has slowed down, of course, that has picked up. People are still enjoying wine at home this time, and so we're still selling and things are going well. So yeah, I'm having some fun there.
Good for you. Good for you. Congrats on this project, on this film. It's so cool and so well done, and you're so great to watch in this. And
oh, thank you.
Just talk about going into this. I know with a couple of old friends, with Michael and Ethan, before, it must have all just lined up in a cool way for you.
Yeah, I really did. You know, Michael has been trying to get this done for. And let me do this. I'm going to not disturb. There we go. Michael has been kicking this project around for quite a long time, and I like to think he was just waiting for me to get old enough to play Edison. But in fact, I think there were other circumstances at play. But when he suggested getting back together with Ethan and him and some of the other members of the cast and playing Edison, I was really excited. First, I think Michael's an extraordinary filmmaker, very unusual take on storytelling. And I enjoy working with Ethan as an actor so much. We really have a great rapport in front of the camera. So those were two things. And then obviously the opportunity to play Edison, which doesn't come along every day. And Michael, you know, when he courted me for the role, it was interesting. He would send me images of Edison as a younger man, and I was begrudgingly, I saw the resemblance, I think. So I was like, oh, actually, this could work. And then, of course, he wrote a brilliant script, which I think told the story of the era and of these men in just a kind of a different way.
Talk about your willingness as an actor to kind of take chances and kind of trust in the material and the director and kind of go off the deep end and do something experimental like this, like you have with other projects, and kind of, you bring your skills and experience to this, of course, you know what you're doing, but to kind of let yourself have that experience.
Yeah, no, thank you. I think it's really important to join in that way, and to the, you know, the director has the vision. He knows what the story he wants to tell. So it's really my job as an actor to bring what I can to support him and to support what he's established. And that's always been my approach. And you know, you enter into these things, and this one in particular, knowing full well going in, this is independent. I like to say with a capital I. I mean, there's no money, there's no frills, there's no time. You know, you've got to come in with your A game. So it's a challenge as an actor to be able to bring something and deliver something quickly, you know, and efficiently. And that's, again, I think something that's understood within the cast that we had, particularly with Ethan. He's done a number of these, and we just have a shorthand, you know, and you got to be pretty flexible and willing to adapt. You may come to a set one day and we don't have that set, so you got to figure out something else.
Right.
And that's some thrill to that.
Talk about just kind of the old school fun of putting on the costume and doing the voice and just inhabiting someone like Thomas Edison. In some ways, that's probably why you got into acting, to be able to take on these type of personas.
It's very true. It's really about imitation in a lot of ways. You know, part of the joy for this for me was the research that I got to do. So I read a lot of books, and Michael was very helpful on that as well. Watched film of Edison moving through space, conducting interviews at his laboratory. It sounds like I'm talking about Frankenstein, in his laboratory, and just getting a sense of the man from that point of view. And then also just the script. You know, I'm interested in inhabiting the character, the man, not necessarily telling a story about all the things he invented, but really who he was, what drove him, why he was the way he was, why he's remembered today as well. So those are all the things that drove me and I was interested in playing.
And as unique as Michael's storytelling may be, and as wild and artsy as parts of this film could be, at the heart of it, you're still playing this man, and people are going to be seeing this film for decades, and this is going to be a portrayal of Edison that a lot of people are going to, this will be their first glimpse into this man's life.
God, you just put the pressure on me. Holy smoke. I hope I did okay. You know, this truth. I don't, you know, I gratefully, I don't tend to sort of dwell on that side of things. I just kind of come in and I'm enthusiastic and we do the job and we figure, all right. But you're right. Sometimes there is the staying power of films like this, particularly I think if they present an interesting point of view, which I think this does, they will, you know, fingers crossed, stay around for a while.
I've noticed, I saw the trailer posted, and of course I noticed it myself the first thing when I saw the film. There's I think a triple meaning to when you say "got a light" in that scene with Ethan there.
Yes.
You know, the play on words right there in that scene, and then there's the broader context, of course, with those people that are Peaks fans. Yeah,
no, there's a little Easter egg there, which I think might have been intentional from Michael. He also had a reference. There's further on in the movie. I sit down and I have a slice of pie in a scene that well, I won't give it away, but so there another sort of indirect reference, I think, to I guess what I'm probably most known for. Yeah, and Michael goes back a ways with David Lynch as well, so it's not too far afield. He does, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think they're admirers of each other. So yeah. Talk about how much fun you have with that, with your fans and people. You know how much people admire your work in that, and you're always having fun with that online and in appearances. It's something you're willing to have out there, and you seem to thoroughly enjoy as well. I do. I really, you know, I think back in the day when I first started, you do it, and you as an actor, a young actor, you sort of resist the idea that you're getting pigeonholed or this is the only things you're going to do. So you try to wrestle with that and break away and do different things. And as you age and wisdom settles in, you begin to realize just how special it is and how unusual. And so I've embraced that completely, and I love it. I mean, it's my favorite character I've ever played. I'm very, very proud of the work in the first season and in the return, where I got to do a number of different things. And I look to it as something that I will be proud of, you know, all my life. And it's fun for me when an audience exists and the fan base is so strong and so supportive and so much fun and so creative. I mean, people are inspired by this, and they in turn create things that I like to share on my social, particularly Instagram. And a big shout out to all those people that contribute. Yeah, people enjoy that. But you've also proven yourself in so many ways with so many different characters you've lost yourself in for the audience. You've shown you can pretty much do everything. So it must be a feeling at this point in your career. Well, it does feel good. Surprisingly, one looks back over the years and can't really believe it's been this long, and they're still letting me do this. So there's a great appreciation for that. How busy and creative can you be right now during all of this? Challenging, you know. I mean, you find different outlets. You know, one of the things that I love to do with my son is read. So we've been reading Treasure Island together, and which great characters, of course. So I read a chapter, he reads a chapter. So we both critique each other's voices of the pirates and of the characters. And I got to say, he's 12 years old. He's doing pretty well. I don't know if there's a career on the stage for him ahead, but he's definitely my son.
That's great. That's great.
Fun.
And other things in the works? Do you have projects that you're hoping to get off the ground and get started once things, whatever, you're finding ways to do that now?
I mean, there are things that I'm looking at, meeting on, talking to directors about. Sadly, there's nothing that has really been able to take that step forward yet, but
Sure.
everything seems to be right at the gate, ready to go. I mean, there are a few things that are going forward under really super restrictive situations, you know, quarantining and shooting outside of the country, that kind of thing. But I feel like we're inching closer somehow. So fingers are crossed, you know.
How much have you enjoyed David Lynch's ways of staying in tune with the fans, and his videos and his YouTube channel have been a lot of fun for me to watch.
Yeah, no, I'm really enjoying it too. I mean, David is, we're neighbors. I mean, we live very close to each other in Los Angeles. So before the quarantine, we were visiting frequently, and he's a person he's an artist. He just never stops working in that way, whether he's painting, doing music, sculpting, photography, doing his YouTube channel. He's always creating. He's always doing something interesting. And he's an inspiration to me. You know, sometimes I'll get lost in the mundane of life. Sometimes out of necessity, I'll be cooking dinner tonight. But I'd like to think of that as a creative endeavor as well. So maybe in my own way, I'm creative as well.
For sure. Well, listen, Kyle, you always inspire me, make me happy just watching your work. And I've always appreciated what you do. So great work with this one. Congrats on Tesla.
Very kind. Thank you. Really, it's fun to talk with you. And maybe one day I'll have one of those. That's what's sitting in the back behind you there.
Yeah. You're doing just fine with anything I have.
Very good. Thank you.
All right, Kyle, stay safe. Pleasure talking to you.
Okay. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Awesome.